Yo and hello, everybody. Welcome to Hobby Think Tank. I am Mike. That's John, the the artist formerly known as That 70s Card Show. Hey, John.
Michael, how are you?
I'm good. We're in the middle of the baseball playoffs, and both of our favorite teams are still playing.
Yeah. Yeah, you are more fanatical about it than I am, but cannot help where I'm from, and I grew up a massive Philadelphia Phillies fan, so I'm pumped. I'm on the bandwagon. Let's do this.
Well, you're a fanatical fan with a PH though, which makes it
All right.
a
Well,
little bit different than
I
me.
should probably change the title then. I should put a PH in there.
Yeah,
He, him, they, fem. How's that sound?
that
Fay
sounds
fem. I'll do Fay fem next time.
AFM. There you go. Uh,
You must be jazzed, man. The Metroplex must be on fire. Uh, Cowboys are buried far deep in the paper. It's Ranger season right now. How excited are you, man?
Total opposite,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Baffles me how little the Rangers are being talked about on sports radio around here, local stuff. It's all about the Cowboys. And it's like, and the Rangers won. Here's a great example. The Rangers won. Now let's talk about the punters against each other on the Cowboys Chargers. I'm like, really?
You
We're that deep?
think so? You're conceding that Houston's a bigger baseball town than Texas, Bedford, Euless, and Fort Worth combined, right?
Dallas, you mean? You
Yeah,
said
Dallas.
Texas.
Yeah, I'm
But,
sorry. Whatever.
uh,
Anywhere between Dallas and San Angelo.
yeah, maybe. Dang it. I guess I hate to admit that
Not
out
a
loud.
baseball town. Yeah, that's understandable. Football is king in Texas, as we know. So yeah, we get that, right?
But the Phillies want to know as we record this. We'll see how they do. We're heading towards a Rangers Phillies World Series, but y'all just went last year. So
Right. Well,
the town's just even more excited. Are you a Bryce Harper fan? That's my first question.
I like Bryce Harper, and you know, he fits in with the clubhouse. He doesn't dominate the clubhouse, which I think is kind of neat to see as the star player as one of the Joes instead of my favorite player from the 70s or one of the greatest player from the 70s, Reggie Jackson, always had to be the brightest star in the locker room. Harper just fits in, and they just all seem like one tight little group of equals, which is kind of neat to see.
Yeah, that's what I see with the Rangers. There's no superstar egos, even though you have guys with superstar contracts like Seager
Yeah,
and Simeon
sure.
and Jagrom,
DeGrom.
who's not even there. But Reggie, the straw that stirs the drink, right? So
Yeah. I mean, it's neat because there's superstars throughout the league, yet it just seems like that Harper is not a me first kind of guy. Listen, the guy jumped in after Tommy John surgery. He could have taken it easy this year and DH'd, right? And he learned a new position. So it kind of tells you all you need to know about that feller right there,
yeah.
I think. So,
Well, that's not what we're going to think tank today. We're going to think tank. I need your help. I need everybody's help out there because you and I are going to be hooking up that sounds
hey,
not,
happy birthday, huh? I'm
uh,
dancing at Mike's birthday party, everybody.
but in a couple of weeks, we're going to be hanging out at the Dallas Card Show. You're making the trek south and west, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
to Dallas for the Dallas Card Show. First of all, are you excited about that?
I am. I don't get jazzed up over card shows, but with that said, and I don't know why, but I always said the National was just a card show, just another card show. But I had a ball at the National. I had an absolute ball, and it's me. I don't have balls. Anyway, I did not mean to say that. I usually don't have a great time out amongst the unbathed, but I had a great time in Chicago. Had a decent time in Philly a couple weeks back, and I'm looking forward to Dallas to see some people like yourself and some others.
Well, you came to the Dallas show once or twice before
Been there at least twice.
for the
I think
Dallas show.
twice. Yeah, right.
I think only one time where we actually knew each other, and
Right.
then one time before that. That's right.
Oh,
Well, this will be an interesting Dallas card show for me because I'm actually setting up to sell cards,
crazy.
which is blasphemy to most. For Mike Moynihan selling cards, but these are all cards from the Basement collection that I acquired a few months ago, in a deal up in Kansas City. If you don't know what that is, you can go watch on Baseball Collector. I've done several videos about the basement collection, started auctioning some stuff out, but I've got a lot of bulk, and I'm at a loss. I'm kind of like, I'm sitting here feeling a little overwhelmed on how to set up, what to bring, how to price stuff.
Have you practiced your lines yet?
Which line would that
If you're a dealer, you got to say, well, what do you want to pay for it?
be?
Like, you can't show your cards, man. First, the dealer's always.
No, I'm gonna price everything. I got to go buy all the little stickers, and
How
put
about
'em
I'm
on.
into it for this? I can't. You practice that line yet? It's got to roll off the tongue, man. You got to be selling it, and it has to be believable. Oh, I'm in it for more than that. I'm sorry.
No, my goal is to sell a bunch of stuff and give people good deals.
Okay.
Because on a per card basis, I don't have a lot into these cards,
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah.
but I'm still way behind the Powerball or behind the Powerball. I'm not playing the lottery. Well, maybe I am a little bit
Yeah.
by selling cards, but I'm still behind in terms of being profitable on the collection,
Okay.
but I'm not really worried about it. I'm not concerned. And so I knew it was going to take a long time because it's a lot of littles, lots of cards, not tremendous value per card, but some really great stuff. And I want to make sure that I get it. Is it good to have, I'm asking you your opinion, $1 boxes, $5 boxes, 50-cent box, have that stuff. I don't have a ton of slabs and stuff that I'm going to be selling. There's just not a lot of that there.
Well, you and I know what you paid for that collection, and I don't care. It's nobody else's business. But with that said, have you onboarded in your own collection enough right now to say, hey, that was worth it? I'm not saying break even, but to say, because you have to include that in your calculations of how close you are to getting back to level, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been able to add a bunch of vintage singles to some sets, which has been great. I haven't really kept a lot from it. There's some
Okay.
I sent a bunch of I got cards in for grading now that are out for that. That I'll probably keep a few of them.
Because that's how I gauge my profitability. My profitability includes first and foremost what's been onboarded in my collection. Now you took on a massive amount of cards there, so
I
it's
did.
you'd fill your room there if you kept everything. But that's what I factor in. Now you gotta Dallas is a different breed. Now you can put time with anything. Time is valuable here, right? Like these folks that sell singles at the card shows. I haven't seen it at Dallas, but like at the National and at the Philly show, there's binders and binders by year of cards, and they're all priced out in the card. So you can get away with that. It's not really dollar box stuff or $5 stuff, but you can charge, $250 for a 72 Topps football card if it's in the
Right.
binder and they pull it out and just add it to the thing, whatever. But that takes a lot of time to get ramped up there. So what kind of stuff are you thinking about? You talking about these dollar boxes or $2 or $5? What era cards are you talking about here?
Mostly 70s stuff. I've got
Yeah.
a bunch of 60s commons, but I don't know if there's any. Will anybody even care about that? I don't know.
60s? I'll stop by. Now the question is, then you have to deal with the high numbers and all that stuff. People go gaga over the high numbers, right?
Which I don't think I have much of
Okay.
that.
72 and earlier is a big deal. Yeah.
Sure. It's just again new ground for me,
All right.
and I can already tell you I hate the selling side of the hobby. I absolutely hate it. It's
The customers or the work that goes into it,
the work
because
that
it can
goes
be
into it,
both. Okay.
and I'd rather spend my hobby time buying cards.
Yeah.
That's kind of the deal.
I get it. And then you have to stand up there, and I mean, you're a personable guy, but then everybody comes to your table and you got to answer all the questions. You're going to answer the same question 20 times a day, probably. Um, you might get 20 people that ask you, how low can you go on that card? And finally, number 20, you might just give them that card for less than you would have given to the previous 19 folks. So it's patience and all that stuff, man. I don't know. Do you feel like it'll be a success if you break even at the show, or are you thinking in order for this experiment to be a success, you need to 5x or 10x your table price?
Yeah, I'm learning quickly the mathematics of setting up at at a show. Right, you've got the table cost, which in Dallas is $375 per table. Um, Originally, I bought 2 tables, but I learned quickly that I don't really need 2 tables.
Right.
Garrett, one of my buddies, is coming up. He's bringing a bunch of cards from the basement collection that I had kind of consigned to him to sell, and so he'll have a bunch of stuff. I'm worried about not having enough to make it through the weekend, but because I'm
Who
going to price
cares?
my stuff to sell it, honestly.
So if you sell out the first day, who cares? Right?
Good point. That's
You
true.
know, because you've actually making money. You're getting back 16 hours of your life or whatever.
I'd
Right?
love somebody to come and say,
Buy your table.
buy
Huh?
your whole table. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
anybody
that's
out
something you
there,
do need to think about, right? Like you need to go into that so that's not a surprise. If you haven't already thought about it when you set up, you need to think about that and say, you know, because again, you'll get back 2 days of your life if you sell on Friday, 3 days of your life if you sell on Thursday. Your goal isn't to stick around and meet people for 4 days. Your goal is to make money, right?
correct. And I'll have fun doing the other stuff too,
Right.
hanging out with people. I'm going to have a sign that says buying but I'm going to be specific on the sign, buying vintage PSA cards. Like that's it.
Yeah. You gonna promote chasing cardboard at all?
We are
Okay,
going to
that'd be fun,
chase
huh?
cardboard. Matt will be, who is our producer, director, filmmaker, all that good stuff. He'll be there. We'll have some swag and hopefully some t-shirts to give away, some hats, some stickers.
So, have you decided? Are you going with the old style coin dispenser? Are you going to do an apron, or are you going to do a fanny pack? Has that been? Have you and Julie gone by and figured that out yet?
So the answer is,
That's no good, man.
why not? It'll
What are
hold
you?
money.
What are you going to hold it with your tail? You need to keep a hand open or two hands open, man.
Nobody steals stuff at card shows.
That's wasn't Dallas where they tackled a bro for
Yes.
a fake Jordan or something.
Yeah.
I love the mob justice
Yeah.
of Texas.
Nobody will steal anything. Are you kidding?
Uh,
I'll have
they have great security there, by the way. Like
I'll have my nine
probably the best.
millimeter on one hip and my money
Can you bring
pocket.
that into the hotel?
No.
Yeah, I was going to say this. Some of those places don't allow that to happen.
Well, they may not know. I conceal it.
How many autographs do you think you'll sign?
0.
And have
Are you kidding?
you decided on flats or different than balls, bats, and helmets? Or
I will sign 0 autographs. I promise you that.
who's signing at that show? And do you have anybody you need out of there? Because I know it's usually pretty Dallas centric, so you're probably good. But
Yeah, it's weird. They haven't announced the autograph guest list, and we are 2 weeks ish away, 2.5 weeks away.
I was on the website and I didn't see anything yet. And I thought, well,
Right.
it's just me. I just don't know where to click. But
Not just you.
okay.
They're not there because I want to know too, because I want to bring some stuff to potentially get signed if the right players are there, depending on who's there.
Well, November 3rd, right? So the Cowboys will be eliminated by then. So maybe the Cowboys will be there will be some the punter, your beloved Cowboys punter will be there signing, whoever that is.
It's Brian Enger. And no, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. I don't, you've gotten autographs for me at the Dallas show from none other than Whitey Herzog.
It's so humiliating.
Why was
I felt like a Swiftie. Here I am waiting
for to have this old man sign a
old guy with 3 hearing aids, hectoring me over a counterfeit picture. Where did you get this picture? I told you that story, man. And then once I passed that test, asking me which color to sign the picture in, and I just had no idea. It was probably the most difficult 5 minutes of my collecting history. Was being interrogated about a Fugazi Perez Steele picture, and then being asked which color Sharpie should they use.
Blue was the right choice.
Yeah, well I tried to do green, but they wouldn't do green. It would be great to have a nice Kelly green.
Oh my gosh. I guess when I think about it, like my mentality of going into this is going to be, what would I want to see at a table,
Right.
right? And because I'm going to attract guys similar to me, because I have stuff that they're going to be interested in, and
Right.
so I'll be able to have good conversations. I'll be able to. It's like, what would I want to see? And I'll have,
You're gonna have chairs. You're gonna try if you're doing boxes where people are filing through dollar boxes. It's probably good to have a couple fold out chairs.
yeah, most likely I'll bring my own fold out chairs to sit in behind the table. And so
Okay.
I can use the chairs they provide to each table to put on
Yeah.
the front.
And then, small paper bags, right? I find that that's the best way to put 20, 30 cards to a customer. I know I appreciate that when a seller does that.
Okay,
Not
that's a good tip.
you know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
you can't put them in a team bag because what if they buy too many for a team bag and all that stuff? So, like the small just the next size smaller, used to be candy bags, I guess. We used to get our candy in as a kid, but it's fun because you can wrap them up, fold them, protect them, and all that stuff. And then, you got schmoes like me who just leave 400, 600, 800 cow boxes at whatever table. So
you're welcome, by the way.
yeah, thanks. uh, so do
Tell me
that for
those two
sure.
stories. We have so many inside stories that, like,
I left everything I bought at the Dallas Card Show one year at a table, and Mike and John Dooman had to go back 600 tables and find out where I left it. So
I found it.
found it, yeah. But yeah, do paper like small paper bags, man. That way, people can walk out with a handful of cards and not have to worry about it. Most people come with a small box like I do, but
I think I want to, like, I have a bunch of old McGregor, photos,
Mhm.
promotional photos and stuff. And there's lots of Hall of Famers in there. So
Yeah,
I want to bring kind of stuff that you just don't see every day
that'd be fun.
and have unusual. I mean, in a good way,
Wow.
unusual. Um,
You may
well,
find that you fill that table up pretty quickly. So do you have a second table you're going to put behind you to put more stuff that you can display or
no, I'm just bringing the beast to put stuff in.
okay. Now I know why I'm going to Dallas.
I'm going to empty this out and it'll be for sale too. No, just kidding.
Nice.
I wonder if I could sell the beast to somebody there.
That'd be awesome, man. If
Golly.
that beast could talk. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Um, yeah, it's tough to prepare, right? But it's also I'm the type of person who runs constantly is running calculations in my head, scenarios and stuff like that. So just think about that, selling that table. Somebody buys that table out. It's happened to friends of ours at that show where
Has.
they sold their table and that was it. Just uh time is money. I get laughed at when I say that, but time is money. And yeah, if you had do you have a number in mind that you feel you'd be happy regardless if you sold your table or not? But if you were driving home Sunday afternoon,
Well, again, I'm in it for the table cost. I'm probably going to rent a display case. That's $50.
what's
And
going in the display case?
um, I have some bigger cards I'm bringing that I
Okay.
want to. And
You,
so is Garrett bringing some bigger cards that need to be in a display case.
you gonna sell any of your autos or I know you've got like however many 50 Brooks Robinsons or anything. You gonna sell any of that? Yeah. Because this might be a good opportunity to do that, right?
You know, my wife has encouraged me to consider that,
Right.
and I don't know yet, honestly.
Okay. I
And
mean, think about it. You're already paying the cost of all that stuff, right? And one of the things we say is how to sell. eBay takes this cut, an auction house takes that amount. You've already paid this price. So if you have an opportunity or a need or have been thinking about selling other items that aren't from the basement, maybe you should, do that on a whim. If you don't sell them, you don't sell them, but it's a good way to cut down on future, you know, percentage points you'd have to pay to somebody else, whether it's eBay or an auction house or something.
and unlike you, I am running out of, like, freeing up some space with some extra stuff that I have that I just don't need wouldn't be the worst thing in the world,
Hmm. Right.
and kind of going through some stuff. But I need everybody to tell me this. I don't know. I'm planning on that whole week prior, because the show starts on, like, we're going to get there Thursday night. Oh, and you asked a question I still haven't answered. Let me tell you that before I talk about my prep thoughts and people to tell me I'm crazy. Cost of the table, cost of the display case. I'm going to eat anyway, so I don't really. I mean, I would eat whether I'm here or there. So I don't really,
Ammunition, need to buy ammo.
ammo for sure. That's a huge expense. And but then like hotel. I mean, we're staying there.
Okay.
I'm staying over, and I don't want to drive back. I would spend more in gas driving
Yeah,
back and forth
for
from
sure.
where I live than it's worth. Because normally when I go to the Dallas show, I'll only go 1 or 2 days. I'm not there the whole time. And we'll see. That's another expense, right? So
Yep. Yep.
even though I'm sharing it with a couple of guys, it's still, something I have to consider. So I figure if I could make a couple $1,000s, I think I'd be happy, honestly, in profit.
Oh,
You know,
for sure. I think so. Yeah. Yeah. People, and then you got to do the whole rigmarole where you say, "Oh, having a terrible show," like every dealer does. Um,
the good
you
news
know.
is I can't say that because it's my first one. I have nothing to compare it to.
Well, I mean, you'll know your initial benchmark is your table fee plus your other
Hotel and
your
all that. Yeah.
yeah, right, right.
But I'm looking forward to hanging out with Garrett. I'm looking forward to seeing you. I know, Ben from Chasing Cardboard is coming up from Austin. Like, we're going to have a good time. And
Sweet. And you're
I'm
gonna be
not,
50 years old, man.
I am, and I'll be 50 years old at that point. That's right.
Yeah.
My birthday is next week. Um, Birthday
Yeah.
party is this weekend.
I know we have a dinner planned Friday night, hopefully.
We do.
That'll be fun. So yeah. It, one of the things you and I spitballed about was the climate of the show. I don't know when the last Dallas show you've been to, but is it as has it leveled off? What do we think the vibe is there? It used to make a lot of noise, the Dallas Card Show, as a, pretty hip and packed show. I wonder if that's still the vibe down there.
Well, the last one was August, which was right after the national,
Hmm.
so, and then, or maybe July, right
Wow,
before.
that's a big gap, huh?
And they're 2 months apart typically. They have 6 a year. And I haven't been to one, I don't think, since maybe beginning of the year. And it felt normal Dallas Card Show vibes. But then I said, I'm not going to go anymore. I have my weekends are pretty packed. It's not like I plan my whole life around going to a card show.
Yeah, you're a pretty big deal.
No, no, no. I have other stuff to do. And so I don't make that a priority, honestly, to go to
Yeah,
the Dallas Card Show.
right,
And people ask, "Are you going?" I'm like, "No." And how can you not go? And because I don't need to go.
right, right.
I can buy cards whenever I want. So
I'm wondering if people of our generation or half generation that we're in, I wonder if I know a lot of people that still get jazzed up over card shows, but there's so many other ways for me to have that outlet uh, with cards, right? With buying
yeah.
cards and all that stuff. So I don't get as excited at card shows, but
Well, I know you don't. You're going to feel differently than me about this, and that's good, actually. I feel like a card show is one of the most fun buying experiences you can have. I enjoy walking around. I enjoy the hunt of trying to find a good deal, of knowing I can pay cash, have the card, take it home. There's some things about a card show that I think is a unique buying experience as a buyer. And I enjoy it very, very much. I just don't need to do it
right.
6 or 8 times a year.
That's interesting because as you were saying that, I was thinking immediately. My thought was my favorite aspect of buying cards is buying bulk. And my LCS and my honey hole that I go to will tell you the same thing. I don't like to buy a card. I like to buy a bunch of cards without knowing exactly what I'm buying in there. And I love the Christmas feel of opening it and wondering what's in there. I won't spend frivolously, but I can. I bought a cigar box a couple weeks ago from my LCS. He told me what he paid for it. I said, I'll give you $40. He paid 20. And in there was enough for me. There was a couple 65 tops embossed cards. I think Bunning and Richie Allen. There's about 100 cards from 65 to 72, but there was a complete 61 golden press set in there.
Wow.
Right. And I knew right away, like I saw enough in there in my mind to make that $40 worth it. Plus, it was a Phillies cigar box, which was pretty badass as well. So that was like enough for me. But if I had gone through everything, I would not have had the same thrill. So I enjoy not knowing what I'm buying all the time and discovering it as I process the collection. Now, at card shows, I don't necessarily get that thrill because you don't have, you're dealing with some pretty savvy sellers there. They're not people selling their husbands or their kids' cards.
Yeah,
They know what they're selling.
I totally get what you're saying about the mystery part of it. Um, and it's because we're different kinds of collectors, which is a wonderful thing. Like you kind of want all of it. I'm more specific, right? So I'm looking
Right.
for certain cards, not any card. And
Yeah.
you're not necessarily looking for any card, but at the same time, the mystery of discovering something and adding something to your collection is a thrill for you. And that's the whole point, I think, of there's different ways to do it, and you can have a great find what works for you and do that more.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever
I mean,
you're
it's tough for me to process what other people do sometimes, but that's because I'm shallow and judgmental. But it's also but it's
and
just,
so
like, why don't you do it the way I do it? That's a talk I have to have with myself all of the time, and I don't know whether you have that talk with yourself, probably not, but you got a damn good collection and you have what's interesting about it is a lot of people that collect like you that we see, right? And you've had some episodes on Golden Age of Cardboard like that recently. So it's you're doing it. I feel like I'm out there doing my own thing on my own, which is great. But it's different than what you're doing. But you've built yourself a little village where you guys all kind of do it similarly, which is cool.
but I bet there's more people like you than you think.
God, I hope not for the world's sake, please. Yeah, I mean, every now and then I run into folks like that, which is neat. But again, the greatest thing about this whole endeavor is that no two collections are the same, regardless of how hard you try. It's
No doubt.
just impossible. Two people cannot have the same collections.
And I think it's important for that to be true because you got to find what you like. Otherwise, it's just what's the point?
Yep. Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, the thing that baffled me when I walked into your room there was the comic books, and it's being able to segment things in your life, prioritize things and stuff like that. Like you can, I told you my first instinct was like, get rid of these comic books so you can buy more cards, without, thinking about like the comic books mean just as much to them than the cards do, right?
yeah, just bought some more today.
That's
Actually,
crazy. Yeah. See, yeah, I was wondering when's the last time you bought a comic book, but you just, bam, you just did it.
today.
Yeah. That's pretty cool to collect. The only thing I collect other than cards is useless information, and I can't monetize it. I can, I sell cards every day, which is great, but it's like getting interest every day. You're making like $4.36, which is great. I love it. It's not worth the effort, but it's certainly worth it because it's fun to do. But it's amazing that you can build two outstanding collections that have nothing to do with each other at the same time.
Well, awesome. Our time is just about done. I do appreciate your thoughts, John. I would love everybody, give me some ideas on prepping. What should I do? What should I, you know, what are some good tips if you have any out there? If you've set up at card shows, this will be my first. Hope it goes well. I'm glad John will be there. He'll man my table for all of 3 minutes, I think.
Yep, yep. That's about all my bladder can take, man. 3 minutes and I'm hitting
When
the
is
bottom.
your autograph session so people can come get your autograph?
I'm not signing. You can send me. I'd love to be the guy you send stuff to me in the mail and I send it back, with an angry letter saying I'm no longer signing. So
Yeah, it'd be the guy that like, nope, sorry, you didn't,
who's the worst TTMer? The reigning worst TTMer? Do we know? Is
reigning
there?
worst TTMer. Man, I've had so much good TTM success. I'm
I heard about
literally
the Brooks Robinson one where it was the opposite. Like the family kept saying, "Please stop sending stuff." So
right.
then he kept. Then he started signing again, right? Because he felt guilty.
Yeah, I know there's guys that send stuff back because either the amount wasn't right or
They just take the money out, huh?
Sometimes they do that too and send the card back blank. I've seen that happen.
Scumbags.
I just can't remember names off the top of my head, but
I saw a signed Hank Aaron penny sleeve the other day, which I thought was awesome. Oh, imagine sending a card to Hank Aaron and he signs the penny sleeve.
that would be
Uh,
tragic, actually.
anyway, sorry about that. You were saying
That's all right,
something.
man. We got to run. We've used our 30 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And again, comment down below, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Go
Keep
Phils.
collecting.
Go Phils.
Go Rangers.